So feel free to grab cushions, bolsters, blocks, anything. We're not going to be here for long, but I want you to be comfortable because you don't want to start by creating tension anywhere. So just find somewhere that you're happy. And then just notice how you're sitting. So notice whether you're kind of leaning to one side, whether you're slumped down, whether you just twisted, or just kind of being aware of how your body has positioned itself. And then let your shoulders and your arms just relax down. And just start to slow your breathing down. So just start to take some really deep breaths in, and then fully exhale and just getting rid of all of the stale air, just kind of letting go of anything that you're kind of gripping and holding on to. So we're just going to do a few breaths here. Take your time, feel what you feel, notice what's going on, and just be as relaxed as you can. Kind of feel what parts of your body are in contact with the floor. So notice if there's a lot of weight, depending on how you're sitting, if there's a lot of weight like on your feet, say, or a lot of weight on the backs of your legs. Notice whether you're sitting on your sit bones or your tailbone. Like I say, is your weight even on both sides? Just notice. If you've got your hands resting down on your arms, notice hands resting on your legs even. Notice the weight of your hands on your legs. Just keep taking those deep breaths. I'm going to come onto all fours first. So come onto your hands and knees. And we're just going to do that abdominal release where we're trying to relax our belly. So just come onto all fours. You can let your head hang if that feels good to you, whatever feels most comfortable here. And then again, keep taking those deep breaths. But see if you can relax your belly. So let it be as soft and as relaxed as possible. No pulling it in. I always say you get extra marks if it hits the mat. So really let it go. Nobody's looking. Everybody's thinking about their own bellies. See if you can. Allow it to relax so much that there's more space now for your diaphragm to move with every breath. So when we hold our abdominals pulled in all of the time, it creates pressure in your abdominal cavity, which kind of prevents the diaphragm from being able to move down to give you a really deep breath. So having your abdominals really relaxed, you might find you can get more breath in, but it is really difficult to relax here. Just let's do a couple more breaths. One last time. And then just come off your hands for a minute. So let's just give our hands a little shake out. We're going to come back onto all fours in a minute, but let's just give our hands a little shake. Maybe twirl your wrists around in each direction. We're going to go to rhomboid push-ups next. So we're going to start thinking about moving our shoulders around. So fingers spread wide, thumbs point towards each other, elbow pits are forwards. And then keeping those arms nice and straight, you're going to let your shoulder blades come together in your back and then press your shoulder blades wide. Shoulder blades together, shoulder blades wide. Keep going. Notice if your elbow pits are trying to roll in to look at each other. See if you can keep them pointing forwards as much as you can. How about you let your head hang here too? So the head is just heavy, giving more space for your shoulders. All right. And do one more time. And then just come off your hands again for a minute. We're going to come back onto hands again. We're going to do reverse prayer hands. So bringing the backs of your hands together, pulling your thumbs away from your fingers and starting to lower your hands down. Now remember, if the hands start to split apart, bring your hands up a little bit higher so that you can get the backs of the hands together. Notice when you're here, if your hands are kind of tipping in towards your body, can you think about pulling the hands away from you? So look for that tipping in and see if you can pull the hands away a little bit. Has that created any change in your shoulders? Has your neck disappeared? Can you try and get your shoulders relaxed as much as possible? Fingers a wriggle, a little shake out. So we're going to go back onto that all four position. Again, fingers wide, thumbs towards each other, elbow pits forwards. Find that point at which your shoulder blades are really stable on your back. So they're not squeezing together. They're not super wide. They're kind of halfway between those 2 points. So if you put your awareness to where your shoulder blades are, where do you feel that they are flattest on your back? Try and find that position. And then don't move your shoulder blades at all, but can you lift one hand off the floor? And then place it back down and do the same on the other side. Can you lift the hand away from the floor without disturbing your shoulder blades? So we don't want a huge rocking movement of your body, of your shoulder blades. Good. If you're happy, shoulder blades aren't moving, we're going to start to reach the arm forward this time and then reach the arm up towards the ceiling. So we're doing our Superman arms. And again, we're thinking about that nice stable shoulder blade and not allowing it to wing or move, collapsing towards your spine. It's super stable. Notice if it's the same on both sides, or does one side feel a little bit more unstable? All right. Hands come down this time. We're going to keep both hands down. We're going to bring our attention to the legs. So before you start to move your legs, think about the position of your hip bones. So both hip bones are pointing down towards the floor. Keep the hip bones in that position as you slide one leg back and out long on the mat. And then can you lift that leg without your pelvis twisting? And then bring it back in. Same on the other side. Leg goes out long first. Can you lift the leg? And bring it back in, and the hip bones stay pointing down at the floor the whole time. Notice as you lift your leg, is there a dip in your back? Does your back kind of move? And if it does, try not to let your back shift at all, because it's just the leg that we've got moving. And although we're concentrating on the legs, notice what's happening with your shoulders. So have your shoulder blades collapsed in towards your spine? Have you lost your elbow pits being forwards? Well, nobody was checking up on it. Do one more on each side with the legs. And then just come on off your hands again. Excuse me. Elbow tucks in by your side, palm faces up towards the ceiling. Use your other hand to pull your fingers back, stretching out your fingers and your hands. And then gently pulling each finger in turn back. Give them a good stretch. And you've done them all, just give them a wriggle. And do the same on the other side. So elbow tucks in, palm faces up, and you're using your other hand to pull your fingers back. And then again, pulling each finger in turn back. When you've done them all, give them a little wriggle, give them a little shake. We're going to add the arm and the leg together this time. So obviously we're looking for shoulder blades staying still, pelvis staying still. If it's too much with arm and leg, just pick and do one. So get your setup, fingers wide, thumbs towards each other, elbow pits forwards. Shoulder blades in that nice stable position, hip bones pointing straight down. Nothing's going to change as you reach one arm and the opposite leg out along the mat. Can you lift the arm and the leg again without losing your alignment as you bring them back in? Have a play, switching sides, and you don't have to make the movement big. You can make that movement super small. As you reach your arm and leg away, don't worry about how high they're going, but think about reaching in length away from each other. So your fingers are as far away from your toes as they could possibly be. Good. Let's do one more on each side. And then when you finish that last one, you're going to sit your bottom back towards your heels, reach your arms forwards into your child's pose, just giving your back a little stretch, and take some deep breath there. We're going to come down onto our front next. So when you're ready, lie yourself down onto your front, and we're going to do some dart arms. So we're going to have our arms down by our sides, palms facing in towards your thighs. Now you can have your forehead resting on the mat, or you can have it hovering if you prefer, whichever's more comfortable for you. Have your pubic bone anchored, tailbone slightly tucked to bring you into neutral, and legs can be squeezing together or hip width apart, whichever feels better for you. Okay, think about your shoulder blades again. So can you think about squeezing your shoulder blades together in your back, just keeping your arms down by your sides, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and that will pick up the fronts of your shoulders away from the floor, and then let your shoulder blades go wide. Do that a couple of times, picking up your shoulder blades, squeezing your shoulder blades together in your back, and then let them relax back down. Keep going. All right, and then as you relax and release your shoulder blades down this time, we're going to start to play with the arm. So one arm, reach the arm back behind you. So the arm as high as you can, and notice if it's tried to go out to the side. Try and keep it in close to your body and then lower it down. We're going to do the same on the other side. Reach the arm behind you. Try and keep it in its own little channel. Don't let it go out wide. And lower it down. Let's keep switching sides here. We're going to do both arms together this time. So when you're ready, as you lift this time, both arms together and lower down. Again, you're noticing if your arms are trying to go wider, trying to keep them the same distance the whole time. Reach. 2 more. And as your arms come back down, you're going to push yourself up and back into your rest position again, just to give you a little stretch, just to give you a little break. Reach your arms forwards. So we're going to do breaststroke this time. We're going to go back onto our front again. And we're going to start with our hands just in front of our shoulders, palms are facing in towards each other. Same position with the legs, so pubic bone anchored, tailbone slightly tucked, and legs either together or hip width, whichever feels better for you. We'll do just the arms first, and then we'll add the back extension. So as you inhale, reach your arms forwards, and exhale as you swim your arms down by your side. So we'll just do a couple here. Again, we're going to inhale, so we're going to reach the arms forwards, and we're going to exhale as they come down by your sides. Do one more time like that. And you can either just stay with the arms, or you can add a little bit of back extension this time. So back extension. Again, you're going to reach your arms forwards. As you start to open your arms out and circle to your sides, you're going to lift your head, your neck, your chest away from the floor. As your hands get towards your hips, you're going to start to release your spine back down as your arms come through to your start position. So you can kind of use whatever breath pattern works for you. With this one, I changed my breath a little bit. So I tend to inhale now as I circle my arms and come up into that back extension, and exhale as I release the arms and come through. I kind of hold just as I reach the arms forwards, and then inhale, but just breathe. Don't worry too much about it. As long as you aren't holding your breath, your body will figure out how it needs to breathe and what's going to work for you. But keep your pubic bone anchored. Notice if you are tending to press your rib cage into the mat. Are you trying to press your abdominals into the mat? Can you pull them into your body rather than pushing them down? Let's just do one more of whichever version you've chosen. And then as you relax down this time, let's go back again into your child's pose, into your rest position. and just have a little stretch. And maybe it feels nice for you to just rock side to side. And slow your breath down. Good. Okay, so we're going to come back onto all fours, but we're going to come down onto our elbows this time. So I'd like to make two little fists and kind of have the fist into the mat, but you can be in any position that feels right for you here. Any of them are fine. I want you to think about picking your ribs up so that you've not kind of arched your back and dropped your ribs down. So ribs are going to pull in first. Think about those hip bones pointing straight down at the floor, and we're going to slide one leg out on the floor. Can you lift that leg and lower and slide it back in? So we're just going to play with our setup here. Try the other side. Hip bones are going to point towards the mat. Can you lengthen one leg out long, lift and lower and bring it back in? Now, if you find it hard and you kind of feel really unsteady, instead of having your feet legs hip width apart, whichever your supporting leg is, you can kind of bring it into the center. We're going to only concentrate on one leg. So the supporting leg, bring it into center if you feel like that's going to help you. You're going to reach your other leg out long. Now, keep those ribs in. Can you lift and lower that leg? Pay attention to your back. So notice as you lift your leg, is your back kind of seesawing here? Can you try and keep your back as quiet as possible? And this is just your hip extension. So think again about your bottom and the back of your thigh doing the work here. And your back is super relaxed and quiet. As you lift your leg this time, hold it there. Can you bend at the knee and flex your foot? So the sole of the foot's pointing to the ceiling. Can you push to the ceiling now? Push. Keep going. Good. Let's do two more of those. Push. Last one. And then lengthen that leg out long. Lower that leg down and bring it in. We're going to do the same on the other side. So again, if you want that supporting leg to come into center to give you a bit more stability, bring it in. Lengthen your other leg out long. Pull the ribs in. Can you lift and lower that leg? Again, you're looking to make sure that you aren't seesawing your back, that you're not letting your ribs go. Good. Thinking again about your glutes and hamstrings. Are you ready for the knee bend? As you lift your leg this time, bend the knee, flex the foot, so other foot is pointing to the ceiling, and again, push. Push to the ceiling. Think about a heavy weight being on your foot, that you've got a brick on your foot. Last two. Last one. And lengthen your leg out long. Lower that leg down, slide it back in, and sit your bottom back into your child's pose again, and reach your arms as far forwards as you can. Really walk your fingers out. Give your shoulders and upper back a good stretch. We're going to go onto our side next. We're going to go into the clown next. So when you're ready, come onto your side. Have your knees bent, feet roughly level with your spine. And then take a moment to notice whether you've kind of collapsed into your waist. And you think about having your pelvis stacked so that your hip bones are one on top of the other. And you've not just let everything collapse into the mat. You're kind of holding yourself here. Feet stay together. Open out that top knee. All right. Remember, we don't want your pelvis to shift. It's just the leg moving. Think about that drink balanced on that top hip. Good. We're going to do 5 more. Good. And then as you lower your leg down, when you've done your 5, you're going to reach the legs out long. Bring them slightly forwards just to give you a little bit more stability, and then really reach that top leg. Make that top leg as long as you can. We're going to do kicks. So we're going to have that foot flat and it's going to come forward, kick, kick, and then point your toe and take it just back beyond your other leg. Again, we're going to do forward, kick, kick, point the toe, take it back. Think again about your pelvis, making sure it's not rocking and rolling. 2 more like that. Last one of those. And then we're going to take it into a bicycle. So as you bring your leg forwards this time, we're going to hold it forwards and then we're going to bend the knee. You're going to take the knee back behind you, straighten your leg out, and then bring it all the way forwards again. We're going to do 5 in each direction. I trust you to count your own. No cheating. And also because you know that I'll probably lose count and make you do about 12. Good. I think this is my 5th one. When you've done 5 in one direction, you're going to reverse it and go the other way. And if you lose where you're up to, don't worry about it. Just keep moving. When you've done your 5, I might have done 6 there, I'm not sure. When you've done your 5, you're going to just lower your legs down and just take a moment to lower that leg and kind of find that stretch. We're going to do our hot potato next. All right, so you're going to lift that top leg and tap your toes behind your bottom foot for 5. And then up and over, tap in front of your bottom foot for 5. Up and over, tap behind for 4. Up and over, tap in front for 4. And tap behind 3. And 3. And 2. And 2. And then singles, we want a big lift for single, big lift. And tap, and up and over, tap, up and over, tap. Again, think about that nice stable pelvis. Keep reaching that leg away from you, making that leg as long as you can. Last 2. Last one. And lower that leg down. Oh, good job. Let's give it a little stretch out. So come on up. And the leg you've just been working is the one you're going to bring in. Cross it over and sit as tall as you can. Twist towards your bent leg and use your other arm to scoop it in. Still sitting tall. And take a few breaths. I'm going to do that same little series on the other side. So when you're ready, come onto your other side. Really regretting the Eccles cake that I scarfed down just before we started class. That serves me right. Okay, bend your knees again. All right, so pelvis stacked, knees together. Make sure you're happy with your position. Make sure you've not just allowed everything to just slump into the floor. Still want to have some control. And when you're ready, open up that top knee and close it down. Think again about your drink being balanced on your hips. So you don't want to be rolling that pelvis back. Good. Notice, is it the same on this side as it was the other side? Is it different? Does it feel easier? Does it feel harder? Does it feel more creaky? Just notice. 5 more. When you finish those, legs are going to go out long. And again, you're going to kick them forwards just to give you some stability. You're going to reach that top leg, make it as long as you can, and that foot is flat for kicks. It's going to come forward, kick, kick, point your toe, and take it back behind you. Again, pelvis stays super still. Forwards, kick, kick, and point the toe as you take it back. You're in control, so you can make this movement as big or as small as you like, but really focus on whether your pelvis is rocking and rolling in the mat. And we're going to take it into bicycle. When you're ready, bring the leg forwards. Hold it there, bend the knee. Take that leg back. Release the leg and come forwards. Again, let's do 5 in each direction. When you've done your 5 in one way, reverse, go the other way. See if you can make it smooth. And you make it more bicycle-like. And again, when you've done 5 in each direction, you're just going to lower your leg down and just have a stretch. So if you're not quite there yet, don't worry, keep going. Just stretch when you're ready. So as you lower that top leg down, hopefully you're getting a bit of a stretch, maybe a lot of a stretch. All right, we're ready for our hot potato. Are you ready? 5 taps behind. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Up and over, 5 in front. 4 behind. 4 in front. And 3s. 2s. All right, let's do singles. Up and over, make it big. Reach. Up and over, tap. Up and over, tap. Pelvis still. Makes me feel like Jane Fonda. Just need some leg warmers and some, whatever they're called, sweatbands on your wrists. All right, last 2, up and over. Last one, up and over. Oh, lower your leg down. Let's give it a stretch. Come on up to seated. All right, bring that leg in. Cross it over. Sit tall and add your twist there. Pulling that knee towards you and take some deep breaths here. All right, we're going to lie down on our back next. So when you're ready, come down onto your back. Knees bent, feet flat. And let's just take a moment here to let your spine settle. Slowing your breath down again. Letting your body anchor down into the mat. So back of the rib cage heavy, shoulder blades anchored. Back of your pelvis heavy. If you want something under your head here, feel free to pop something under your head. We're going to go into just our single knee fold first. So pelvis is going to stay super still and in that neutral position. So maybe you've got that little tiny space under the small of your back, but don't let your pelvis shift. Take a breath. As you exhale, you're just going to bring one leg up into that tabletop position. And then lower that leg. We're going to keep switching sides. So again, as you exhale, bring that leg into tabletop. And as you inhale, lower it down. Keep switching sides. So you're coordinating the movement with your breath. Bring your awareness to your pelvis. So making sure that as you bring your leg into tabletop, that your whole pelvis isn't tipping back. Can you keep it super still? Keep a check on the ribs too, making sure your ribs aren't rocking and rolling, lifting up towards the ceiling. Okay. As you bring your leg into tabletop this time, you're going to hold it there. Take another breath, and as you exhale, bring its friend up as well. We've got both legs in tabletop now. We're going to do toe taps this time. As you inhale, tap your toe down onto the floor. Exhale, pull the knee back to the ceiling. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift it in. Keep going. Again, switching sides, using your breath. Pelvis stays anchored, so not tipping your pelvis back. Again, we're just trying to move the legs. Should start to feel like it's quite a bit of work through your abdominals. So your deep low abdominals should be working pretty hard here. We're going to add arms. Are you ready? As your leg comes back up to the ceiling this time, pause with the legs. Let's reach the arms to the ceiling. Palms are facing in towards each other. Okay. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Tap your toe, reach your arm overhead and pull back towards the ceiling. Let's use the breath. Inhale as you reach your arm and leg. Exhale, pull back to the ceiling. Keep going. And keep switching sides. Now you can feel those abdominals working. If it feels too much and you feel like your abdominals are starting to bulge up towards the ceiling rather than pulling down towards the mat, then you can take your arms back out of it. Or you can always go back to lifting one leg at a time. Let's do 2 more. And as you pull back to the ceiling this time, bend your knees, give your knees a little hug, and let's just rock gently side to side. Give your lower back a little bit of a massage. Give your abdominals a little rest. All right, let's bring our feet back down to the floor. So we're going to stay with feet flat, knees pointed up towards the ceiling, and let's go hip width apart with those knees and feet as well. Okay, so pelvis is going to stay super still, hip bones pointing to the ceiling. As you take a breath in this time, I want you to allow one knee to roll out to the side and then exhale as it comes back to the ceiling. Switch inside. So inhale, knee opens out to the side and pulls back in. Keep going. Pay attention to whether it's the same on both sides or whether you can move more freely on one side. So inhale as your leg goes out, exhale as it pulls back in. Going to add arms again. As your knee comes up to the ceiling this time, let's reach the arms up to the ceiling too. Palms facing in. As your knee rolls out to the side, the opposite arm is going to open out to that T position and then pull back into the ceiling, same time. Inhale, arm opens out, knee opens out. Exhale, pull back in through center. Keep going. And you can feel, again, those abdominals are having to work super hard. They're having to stabilize your upper and lower body. And on opposite sides, it's a lot of work. Make sure those ribs stay down, pelvis stays anchored. Notice if your pelvis is trying to tip back towards you. One more on each side. And then as you come back in through center this time, let your arms go out to a T. Let's go into cobbler stretch. Soles of the feet together, knees open out to the side. Let's just pause here and take a few breaths. Think about rolling your chest and shoulders open, ribs relax down. Sorry if you can hear, you'll seen a cat in the garden. He's not happy with cats in his garden at the minute. Okay, we're going to go into spine curl next. So if you do have anything under your head, just take that out for this next exercise and then bring your feet and knees back to that bent position. Okay, so spine curl, take a breath. Tilt your pelvis towards you, and as you exhale, you're going to roll your hips up towards the ceiling. Pause when you get to the top to take a breath in, and then exhale and slowly, slowly roll yourself back down. Really take your time with this movement. Keep your eyes on the ceiling because that's going to keep your neck in really good alignment. And you're rolling up and rolling down on an exhale. Notice what you feel, being really mindful of how mobile your spine feels today. Does it feel like it's moving well or not? When you come to the top of your spine curl this time, we're going to hold it there. So when you're at the top, hold it there. And we're just going to breathe normally, but see if you can relax your ribs down. So can you kind of drop your ribs down any lower? But at the same time, can you lift your hips any higher? Try that again. Can you drop your ribs down any lower and lift your hips any higher? One more time. Can you drop those ribs and lift your hips? Hold here, take a breath, and then exhale and slowly, slowly roll all the way down. When you get down to the bottom, pull your knees to your chest, give your knees a little hug, and just rock gently side to side. Okay, so that's our spine curl as we articulate the spine up. Now we're going to do a bridge, which is just a hip lift, where we're just going to keep the spine straight and go straight up. So feet and knees hip width apart again. All right, take a breath, and as you exhale, push straight down into your feet and lift your hips straight up to the ceiling. And then you're just going to crease at the hips and just lower your bottom straight back down. Again, push through your feet, lift your hips to the ceiling, and then fold at the hip and just lower your bottom straight back down. So you're not doing that roll of the spine, it's just staying pretty still. You should keep lifting and lowering. See if you can find this work in your glutes. So if you're feeling quite a lot of it in the front of your thighs, bring your weight back through your heels more. Maybe think about digging your heels in and almost pulling your heels towards your bottom as you come up. So you're not actually moving them, but it's that kind of pulling them in to try and focus the work more on the back of your body rather than the fronts of your thighs as you lift and lower. We're going to do 2 more. And when you do your last one, again, just give your knees a little hug and rock gently side to side. So let's work the fronts of the thighs now. Let's do some of that patella centering so that we're going to work our quads. So knees bent, and then you're going to straighten one leg out long and bring the legs close together so that you can kind of feel them touching. Find your neutral pelvis here. Okay, take a breath. And as you exhale, that long leg, you're going to start to lift it just until your knees are kind of the same level, and then lower it down. Again, we're going to use our breath with this one. So you're lifting your leg as you exhale, lowering as you inhale. Try not to let your pelvis roll forwards and backwards. And reaching that leg long, making that leg super long and super heavy. This is where we imagine that we're in that big vat of treacle again. Reach. It might do the little tremor of truth, that's okay. Let's do one more. As you lower your leg down this time, we're just going to switch to the other side. Exactly the same. Legs are kind of hugging in towards the midline. Make sure your pelvis is neutral. Take a breath. And as you exhale, you're going to lift that leg. As you inhale, you're going to lower super slow. The slower you go, the more work it is, and the more you're going to be able to control that tendency for your pelvis to rock back. Keep reaching super long, super heavy. Is it the same on this side? Have you got the tremor of truth? Let's do 2 more. Good. All right, as you lower your leg down this time, let's go back to the first side. You know what's coming. Legs hugging in towards the midline and then turning that leg out from the hip. And then again, reach the leg long, take a breath, and as you exhale, you're lifting exactly the same. And lowering, making sure that your not pressing all of your weight down into your standing leg. So that leg foot that's down on the mat, can you kind of unweight it a little bit? You can feel that this work more towards your inner thigh now. Good. 2 more. As you lower your leg down, we're going to switch and do the same on the other side. Again, making sure that you turn out from your hip. Pelvis stays at neutral. Take a breath and exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Don't forget you're in your treacle. Super heavy to lift that leg. Super heavy to lower. How much weight are you putting through that standing leg? Can you unweight? That makes it a lot more work. Good. 3 more. And when you've done your last one, you're going to again give your knees a bit of a hug. And just rock gently side to side. We're going to go on to our strap stretch from here. So grab your strap and pop it around one foot. So free leg out long. And you're going to have both heels pushing away from you, the front of both feet pulling towards you. Find that neutral pelvis again here. So pubic bone, hip bone on the same level, not tipping back towards you. And then just hold here for a few breaths. Check in for tension. Any tension sneaking into your body. Check your frown lines. Can you soften the muscles of your face? Can you let your jaw relax? Neck and shoulders relax. How about those ribs? Can you let your ribs be heavy? Making sure that this leg that's in the strap is just kind of hanging there. You're not holding it up using the muscles of your leg. It's your strap and your arms are doing the work here. If it feels okay, let's bring that leg across your body. And as always, if it doesn't feel good to come across, just keep it in center. Still pushing the heel away, pulling the front of the foot towards you. Bringing that leg back in through center, turning out from your hip and take the leg out to the side. Checking that the ribs stay down. Making sure your pelvis stays anchored into the floor and you've not let your pelvis tip to one side. When you're ready, bring that leg back in through center. We're going to stay with that leg in the strap. We're going to keep it slightly turned out. And we're going to do circles. We're going to do 5 in each direction. We're going to come across the body first. So bring your leg across your body, lower down, circle around, and come back in through center. So the whole point of this is, again, to keep your pelvis super still. So you can make that circle as big or as small as you like. Don't let your pelvis go rock and rolling. When you've done 5 in one direction, you're just going to reverse and go the other way, still keeping that slight turnout. Now, if your hip is popping and cracking and making all kinds of noises, you can play around with the position of your leg. So it doesn't have to be really turned out. You can bring it in through center. You can make your circle smaller, whatever you need to do. I don't know how many circles I've done. When you've done 5, you're going to pop your strap on the other side. You can make your circle smaller, whatever you need to do to get rid of that kind of clicking, popping noise. When you've done all of your circles, you're just going to pop your strap onto your other leg. Again, you're going to push both heels away from you, pulling the front of the foot towards you. And that leg is super heavy in your strap. Making sure again that you've not got any tension anywhere. Check your usual hot spots, frown lines, jaw, neck and shoulders, wherever you know that you hold tension. Check it. Can you let it go? Can you take a couple of deep breaths and find more softness? Is your leg super heavy in the strap? If I was to come and snip your strap, would your leg just drop down to the floor? If it feels okay, let's bring that leg across. Still pulling the front of the foot towards you. Bring your leg back in through center, slightly turn out from your hip and take it out to the side. All right, we're going to do circles when you're ready. Bring that leg back in. We're going to keep that slight turn out. And again, 5 circles in each direction, coming across your body first. Keeping your pelvis super still. Again, you're monitoring for any clicking, cracking. Good. Notice if it's the same on both sides. And when you've done your 5 in each direction, you're just going to get rid of your strap. And you're just going to make yourself super long. You're going to reach your arms overhead, your legs out long, and just stretch. From here, we're going to go into a crescent stretch. So you're going to walk your legs to the right. Walk your arms and upper body also to the right. So you're in your banana shape. Stay there if that's enough. Or cross your left ankle over your right. If you want to add the arms with your right hand, you can grab your left wrist and just give it a little pull. And then check your ribs. Make sure the ribs are still down. Take some deep breaths here. And again, finding softness. So checking that you aren't clenching your teeth or frowning. Let everything just relax. Let's release the arms first. Walk your legs back in through center. Let's do the same on the other side. So walk your legs to the left, to the left, to the left. Arms go up and overhead again, and then arms and upper body also to the left. Stay there if you want to, or cross your right ankle over your left. And with your left hand, you can grab your right wrist. And again, just give it that little bit extra. Taking some deep breaths, ribs stay down. Finding softness, finding space through your body, and just see how it feels. Good. When you're ready, release your arms, walk your legs back in through center. Bend your knees and bring your knees towards your chest one at a time. And just give your knees a little hug as you rock gently side to side. One hand on the top of each knee, open your knees apart and circle your legs around. A little knee circles. Again, let's do about 5 in each direction. And massaging those hip sockets. Good job. All right. When you've done your 5 in each direction, you're going to come on up to seated. And we're going to do our, got to be careful how you say this, sit and shift. So you might need something, you might need cushions maybe, or something to help you here. So just to remind you, sit and shift is where we're sitting down on a low knee, and then we're going to slide our hips to sit onto one hip. Yeah, so if you need some cushions or something to help pad you, then feel free to grab something. You're going to come back and up through center and then sit onto the other hip. Now, if you need more space, you can kind of grab a cushion or something and kind of put it maybe on your lower leg so that you've got more space then for your knees. If you don't happen to have a cushion handy, you can just kind of come up to a higher kneeling position and then come down onto the other side. So it's just about playing with the movement that you have through your hips. So you can use your arms, you can come up quite high and over to the other side. Maybe you need a little bit of space between your knees so that your knees aren't together. You've kind of got a little bit more space. And again, using your hand to come down. Now, and then you're obviously going to build on that. So if you don't need your hands, then don't use your hands. But if you need them, then do. Can you stay low? If you don't need to come up high, can you stay low and just slide from one side to the other? Are you getting foot cramp, toe cramp? Anything else cramp? Sit and shift. So really good for hip mobility, knee mobility, probably feeling quite a lot through your feet as well, yeah? All right, I'll let you come out of that. Release your legs. Let's go to that 90-90 leg position. One leg bent in front, one leg bent behind. Okay, so lean back. You can use your hands if you want to. You're going to roll onto the soles of your feet. Both knees are going to come up towards the ceiling and then let them roll to the other side. 90-90. Again, pivot to the other side. Remember, if you don't need your hands, you don't have to use your hands. You can get your hands off the floor. They're there if you need them. I'm noticing how it feels. So you kind of got one leg in internal rotation, one leg in external rotation. So it's good to have your hips doing different things as well, you know, rather than doing the same thing at the same time all the time. Can you slow it down? So whichever position you're in this time, can you just do one leg, bring one leg up first? How far can you bring that one leg before you then bring the other leg? Just kind of moving slowly. Can you start to lower one leg before the other one? Do you need to do them at the same time? Just kind of playing around with that movement and feeling where you find that there's restrictions or tightness. Okay, got that one leg up. Can I take it any further? Not without bringing that one. And just notice how your body moves. Because often we kind of just get going, don't we? And we just use momentum and we go super fast and we don't even really think about the movements that we're doing. So sometimes slowing it down adds a whole new layer of challenge. All right, bring the soles of your feet together. Let's find that little cobbler position here. Knees out to the side, feet together. Couple of breaths here. How about if you take your feet a little bit further away from you, because you will have gone into the easiest and most comfortable position for you in that. So taking your feet further away from you into that long frog position. How does that feel? I don't like that one. It doesn't feel as comfortable for me. Notice how it feels for you. How about if you bring your feet super close to your body? And also, actually, no, how far can you bring your feet to your body without using your hands? There's a challenge. Try that. If you need to use your hands, obviously they're there, but like thinking about how much can I move under my own muscle power rather than using the arms. We're going to keep one leg bent, straighten one leg out to the side. Let's that long leg, roll it in and out. All right, we're going to switch. Don't use your hands. To the other side. Did you like my sound effect? Other side, roll that leg in and out. All right, guys. That is you done.